Look, I opened this jar of rotten baby food, and well, a butterfly came out.
Maybe, and then we go old school even, like
There you
the
go.
McDonald when we drive quarter pop. Remember that whole thing we used to do
Yeah,
in the
yeah, yeah.
90s?
I think you got it down.
Yeah. I might have done it a couple times. Time is undefeated, man.
Welcome to the Comedians and Elevators podcast. I've got my guest, Nicholas Joseph Mackey. Nicholas, say hi, introduce yourself, and tell us a little bit about yourself.
Hello, everyone. My name is Nicholas Joseph Mackey. I'm an actor, producer, comedian, mostly on the indie level, not going to lie. But I've been blessed enough to work with a lot of name drop. Like I worked with Dustin Diamond, Screech from Saved by the Bell, and Lisa, Lark Voorhees, and Jake the Snake Roberts, Robert Zadar, Joe Estevez. That's Charlie Sheen's uncle. He's very relevant right now again. So I've been very blessed in that department. I got to work with a lot of, people. But I'm all about promoting all of us indie filmmakers and comedians alike. So, I'm here representing myself and several of the filmmakers I've worked with in the past and currently.
Awesome.
I got
Awesome.
stuff. I
Awesome.
got stuff coming up. I did a voiceover job recently. I've got more credits than IMDb just added. I'm rambling because I'm trying to remember everything, and yeah. So
Well, let's intersperse it along the way when a question makes you think about it. So you're ready to
all
get
right,
started, Nicholas?
yeah,
Here you go,
absolutely.
Nicholas Joseph Mackey. Got to ask, is it NJM?
Yeah, that's my initials, NJM. As my producer name is NJ Mackey,
Ah,
and then my
got it.
actor name is Nicholas Joseph Mackey because my mama named me, and she'd be mad if I didn't use my full name.
Perfect. So you ready to get started, Nicholas?
Absolutely, sir.
Listen, to my regular listeners, I know you don't like when at the beginning of these conversations I ask you to subscribe. None of us like it. I don't like saying it. I don't like it being in here. But it's frustrating. You know what else is frustrating? It's also frustrating when I look in the back end of the YouTube channel and I see that 56% of you that watch frequently haven't yet subscribed. And I know this because I see it in the comments section. You say things like, I didn't know I didn't subscribe. And that's actually what fuels the show. Basically, it's like you're making a donation to the show. So that's why I ask all the time, because it enables us to build and build and build. And we're going for the long term here. Hit the subscribe button and we'll continue to build this show for you. That's my promise. Thank you to all you guys that do subscribe. It means the world to me. All right. So the whole point of the podcast is to compare and contrast the comic versus the comedian. So I define the comic as any person telling funny jokes versus the comedian who's a funny person telling any jokes. So
Right.
Nicholas, I always want to call you Joseph, but Nicholas, would you agree that you start as a comic and evolve into a comedian?
I think probably the majority do start out, finding their comic in themselves, which gives them the confidence to become a comedian. But then I do think there's also the rare, they're born with it. They have it from birth. Robin Williams type, Jim Carrey.
Yeah, I would agree, and then the environment has to bring it out, or maybe it suppresses it and they overcome, right? So we
Yeah,
definitely have,
the environment could be a bad environment that brings it out, or like you said, or suppresses it, but in a good way. It's a real crapshoot.
there is. I wonder if there's a science to it. I guess we might find out in the future. So, you ready for
Oh,
the
I'm
first question?
sure they'll be figuring that out and putting it into an algorithm soon enough.
I think so, and I only bring that up because I'm trying to find one myself, working on it right now. So we may get into that in more detail later. But for now, are you ready for the first question?
Yes, sir.
All right. So it's about the role of persona in comedy. So how much of the comedian's voice is a character versus their real self?
I really believe that depends on what they're doing. So, like, if they're up there doing their stand-up routine, I think that that's probably going to be quite a bit more of their personal self, unless they've built their whole stand-up routine on being a comical character. Um,
Mhm.
but I think when they're in film and stuff, it's just a little bit of their own comic, and then or I say film, whatever, the play, it could also be a play, when they're performing something that's scripted, pre-wrote, I think that it's going to be the latter.
Okay. So does authenticity matter, or is illusion part of the magic?
I think again, it's going to be a good mixture of both in what you're trying to, the message you're trying to relay, because authenticity and being genuine, I know for me has helped me out a lot and gotten me very far. But also the illusion, if you're really good at it and you can, put people in make believe to believe, that's awesome.
Hmm. Yeah, that's always the way you can kind of change the whole environment, right?
Yep.
So, speaking of changing the environment, how about punching up versus punching down? So, where do comics versus comedians stand on this? And let me put in some historical context. Did a jealous medieval prince become the first comedian by killing the court jester?
I'm gonna still say that the court jester was still the first comedian. I,
Okay.
I don't I don't maybe that Prince wanted to claim it for his own because he was jealous of the jester, but a jester is obviously a comedian in his own right. Can you repeat their question again? The first part?
Well, really, the idea is this? It's about punching up versus punching down. But did this
Hmm.
happen? Is this a historical fact, or did I just make that up?
Yeah, I don't know, man. Did you just make that up? Because I find it depends on the comedian and what they're doing too. Some comedians it works for them to punch down. Some comedians it works
Right.
better to punch up. I know myself, I prefer positivity. So
Okay. Yeah. So execution would not be in the positive unless you're smiling. That might be the way to do it. So is the
yeah, you
audience
can. Yeah, no, insulting with the delivery with a smile or a chuckle. Yeah,
exactly? So would you say the audience agreement with the comedian is a form of permission or alignment?
I actually now this one I've thought about before. I think it's more of it's a they're in alignment, but it's giving you permission.
Okay. So you're saying there's a sequence. There's the alignment, and if that's true, then you can go with the permission and see if you have it.
I feel like if the alignment's there, it gives you the permission to go
Ah,
to whatever that next step of comedy you have that maybe is uncomfortable or risque or controversial.
got it. So by default, if there is no alignment, you must ask for permission.
Yes.
Okay, that makes
Or
sense.
or bail on that part of the act and move on.
So if you don't get permission, what do you do at that point, right? You don't
Yeah,
have alignment.
I personally I would move on. I don't
Well,
like to test the waters, especially nowadays. In nowadays culture for the last, 15 years or so, I don't just testing the waters is it's that's even risky.
well, what do we do? Let's come up with the solution. So you didn't get permission, you don't have alignment. What do you do other than give up? Is there another option?
Yeah, we acclimate the comedians and
Acclimate.
the artists. We got to adjust. We got to acclimate. We got to become better. We got to think outside the box.
Okay, so maybe a type of surrendering to the will of the mass. Is that what's
No, no,
happening?
no, no.
Okay,
I'm saying, we need to do what we always do and adapt and become better at what we do.
got it. But we don't know what that is at this moment. There's no conceptual framework for it. We got to still
Nope,
figure it
not
out.
yet. Not yet.
Okay.
Someone will come along and show us. I believe that.
All right, so cultural translation of comedy. So how do jokes that work in one country bomb in another?
Well, I mean, that's just going to be your personal beliefs. If you're from a certain culture, you're going to have strong beliefs in that culture, and you can find certain things offensive. Again, if you're a great comic, you're going to find ways to work around that, or find ways to get permission with alignment in your audience when you're out there, working the
Okay.
crowd, working with the audience. You'll be able to feel, you know,
Okay. So is truth the meaning of facts?
is truth the meaning of facts? Wow, is this a philosopher program I'm on? Holy cow. Um,
Got to come up with something you
no,
didn't
not
prepare.
necessarily, because facts can be scientific. Man, it's true.
Let's put it
Hey,
this way.
man, you got me all confused right now. I'm
I
like
know,
losing my
right?
mind.
There we go. Now it comes out. So that's part of the point. So let's do it like this. Let's reframe it. So truth plus meaning equals facts.
Truth plus meaning equals facts.
Yes.
I would say truth plus evidence equals facts.
Okay. Well,
That's like
okay.
science based, you know.
Mm-hmm. Okay, I see where you're going. You're going. We're gonna add an extra component here and perhaps change the denominator, move it on. Okay. So are comics more universal while comedians are more culturally specific?
At the time, I think it depends on yes. So for pop culture at the time, yes, that statement I would say is true.
Okay. All right. That was an easy one, right? All right. So crowd work versus crafted work. So if comics riff like influencers in the comments section and
Mm.
comedians perform like in reaction videos, where's the sweet spot?
Somewhere right in between.
Right. Right. Does,
I mean, if we're being honest, but I believe timing for me personally, in my own experience, especially when you do anything that's on a stage. So, like, say it's not a live comedy show, as far as unscripted. Say you're doing a play, a theater
Mhm.
play, but a comedy one even. Timing is so important. I think timing is really one of the most important factors, if not the most important factor.
Okay. So, oh, I agree. I mean, who would disagree with you, right? So we actually have a
Oh,
little
I think
bit
a
of a
lot of
delay.
people would disagree with me. They're allowed to. It's, that's the great thing about this. I hope they do. I hope someone disagrees and tells me why I'm wrong because I like to learn.
Well, let's put it in this context right now because there is a slight delay with Zoom right now, and so the timing is not in sync. I mean, it's consistent, but it's that delay makes it where we don't have we're a little bit off. So does that add its own kind of quality that you could work with?
There's a certain styles of films that, yeah, that would actually benefit you. There's certain styles of comedy and joke delivery that would definitely benefit you, but it could also hinder you
Mhm.
because if the moment's passed and it's way past and you still try to deliver it, it really just falls flat.
It does, but because we know that that's because of a technical thing, where is that sweet spot? Do you get ahead of it or do you submit to the delay?
I think you have to submit to the delay.
Okay.
Actually, if you want to be funny, to me funnier would be maybe, and then we go old school even like
There you
the
go.
McDonald when we drop quarter pop cheap. Remember that whole thing we used to do
Yeah,
in the
yeah, yeah.
'90s?
I think you got it down.
Yeah, I might have done it a couple times.
So what happens when a comic leans too much into crowd work?
Well, I mean, yeah, there's always a limit. You got to know your limit. And again, if you're good at your craft, you're going to sense it. You're going to be able to sense when okay, this one's run dry. It's done. So,
Right.
um, again, with the crowd work, it's going to be all on the alignment and the permission you feel you have from them.
So what about when a comedian gets heckled?
See, hecklers, you got one or two choices. You're either going to masterfully take care of them in a intelligent, comical way that adds to your show, or you just flat out ignore them. I mean, you got one or two things. I know if you're going to be like, if you're just doing a performance and you're sticking strictly to a script, you just ignore them. But if it's a live show with some improv, see what you can't do.
Okay, I'll go with that. So very important question, advertising and self-promotion. Who advertises themselves more, the comic, the comedian, or the magician? You know that place where you're not conscious and you're not sleeping either? That's your power bill to the electric company. Right here. I want us to be here with free energy, where the Wardenclyffe Tower meets the Eiffel Tower. But that's not where we are. We are here, where you've got the utility and you've got residential solar. Between these two, we know which one saves you money. This is where we can go in the meantime. But this is where I want us to be now, and this can be done now. So let me deputize you to represent DOSE, Department of Solar Efficiency, and let's get on the podcast to get the message out. today. See you soon.
I think the comedian and magician promote themselves about the equal amount, which is more than the comic, because the comic lets the work that they're in do most of the promoting for them. Whereas a comedian and magician are a singular entity person, and they self-promotion, I know it myself, it's hugely important. So yeah, I think the comic can actually rely a lot more on the work that they've been in and been a part of to help spread their word and their name, as opposed to the comedian and magician. It's they're selling themselves and their act.
Okay, so just to double check, I said comedian or magician. Are you putting them together as one person?
No, I'm putting them on the same level as far as promotion.
Okay. Makes sense. So is self-promotion seen as selling out, or is it necessary for survival?
Now, 15 years ago, if you'd asked me that, I would have said, "Oh, that's pretty. You're going to have to do shameless on every post and hashtag shameless Saturday or this, that, and the other." Now, no,
Right.
it's survival. You got to do it, man. You got to put yourself out there. The internet has changed the whole landscape of media and movies and TV, and all of it has changed. So yeah, you better be promoting yourself.
Sounds like a good reason to exist here right now, right?
I mean, and
So,
what better person to promote you than the person who's supposed to believe in you the most?
exactly, exactly. But then you fall into censorship and offense. So does a comic avoid offense while a comedian courts it to prove a point, like a magician?
So this is getting into like you're starting to go into like where the comedian sometimes loses being a comedian and is out there just spreading a message, which for me personally, that's when I've lost touch with a lot of comedians. I like them when they were just being funny and before they got on whatever social thing they were on and trying to get across or point out. So I'm going to say yes, it is. What you said, it's more the comic would rely more on the offense. That's what you said, right?
Yeah,
The
absolutely.
offense.
So are you thinking they're aligning? Is this an alignment thing where they're going with the current trends? That's why they're doing it,
Yes. Yes. Again, pop culture relevance.
right? So
That's
they're
why
they're going. So instead of asking for permission or this third thing, which we haven't figured out, they just default to alignment and move on from there. Solve that one, right?
in some instances, maybe, but not every time.
Okay. So then who survives better in a cancel culture environment? The comic, the comedian, the magician, or the mudslinger?
I see what you did there. See that? I'm gonna take Mudslinger and knock him right off the chart because I feel like that we start to get kind of political there. Um, the magician, the magician.
Okay. Because he can just disappear.
No, because he's got to can he's magic is timeless. It's always going to have relevance in culture, no matter what. Whether 80 years ago or 100 years ago or right now or 100 years from now or right now, magic is cool. Magicians are
Mhm.
cool. They're pop culture relevant at all times, especially if they're doing fresh new magic. Comedians and comics are generally linked to their time.
Mhm.
I mean, I love George Carlin. Don't get me wrong, loved him until he got to that point when he got older and he really started doing a lot of message sending out there. I don't know how else you want to say it. Like he was really preaching sometimes, but I love him. But his comedy, it even falls flat nowadays, a lot of it, because it's time relevant. It's relevant to the time.
Mhm.
The same with comics. Whatever thing that they're being comical about is usually relevant to something in pop culture right then and now, or within a couple of years. So yeah, the magician is going to be timeless because magic is timeless. Comedy is subjective to the here and now.
Now there are some magic tricks like the old fake thumb and put the handkerchief in the fake thumb. So I mean that's been around for a while, right? So when you see that
Right.
one, that's a dated trick, right?
Right. That's why I said the magicians, especially who keep their content fresh and
Okay.
updated. So, because yeah, obviously David Blaine and all the rest of the, isn't he the, yeah, he's the one who came out and busted all the magicians, right? Who's the one who?
Oh, he's
There was
definitely, yeah, he's leaning towards, is it magic or is he on another level of reality, right? So,
right, and then there was that. Remember, in the early 2000s, there was that whole program series that the magicians got really mad about how they do that, and it gave away the magician's tricks.
yeah, but I don't remember the details except some, I think the tricks were pretty basic. Like you learn more than was given up. Like let's get to this point and then we'll move on from there. Is that what was going on?
I think they were purposely raising the bar.
Right.
So that
Yeah.
was the point I was trying to make, is like right there, they purposely raised the bar, and then boom, you have the next level of magicians come out.
Yeah. All right. So timing and delivery, science or art. So do comics rely more on structure and comedians more on rhythm and emotion?
Yes, but also no, depending on what they're doing. Comics definitely, and something scripted, yeah, you're going to rely on timing and delivery because, especially if you do it a lot over and over. Comedians, timing and delivery is going to be on what they feel in the audience at the time, but it's still, yeah, I think they go hand in hand. I think it's a science to the comedian, and I think it's an art to the comic.
Okay. There we go. So laughter versus applause. So are comics chasing laughs and comedians chasing applause breaks or a primetime Emmy that validate the message?
I think that depends on the comedian. Um, I think some of them are just chasing an award or their point that they're trying to get across. Um, yeah,
Okay. All right. Comedy is commentary. So when does a comedian cross into being a philosopher or a preacher?
I think when they start speaking on social events and social cultural things that are affecting the society in the current time, man, I'm really trying to tiptoe around this if you can't tell.
Well, I
Well,
mean, is
first of
there
all,
a per
if they become political, right, that
Mhm.
right there is one.
Right. So is that
So,
good or does it dilute the humor?
oh, it dilutes the humor, and the only way that it could be good is that they're using their platform to spread a message if it's a good message. Other,
Fair enough.
otherwise, otherwise, like their original comedy will still always stand as what it is, but I think it will dilute from it. You know what I'm saying? Do you understand what I mean
Yeah,
by that? Like,
absolutely. Yeah, you could go on Angel Studios and do something fresh and clean, but it's a little bit we'll say what's the word to use? I don't want to be impolitical, even though I'm trying to be. But do you think it would have affected it just because we know who's paying for it?
right. And yes, I do.
All right.
I think
So
that absolutely affects something.
of course, of course. So Nicholas, you ready to enter the multiverse?
Okay. I'm here. I'm here. I'm ready. Where are we going? How am I going?
we're we're going to the next level in the elevator.
All
Board
right.
game. Board.
Multi-universe. Here we
Here,
go. All right.
here we
Let's hit
go.
them up.
Board game Zoomcast, play versus performance. So, if comedy were a board game Zoomcast, are you competing as the colorist, adding tone, mood, and shading, or the Foley artist, building punchlines with soundscapes and timing?
The Foley artist building with the timing, the punchlines, the full
The
story.
sounds. All right. So, does comedy work better when it's painted vividly or when it's orchestrated sonically?
Wow. Well, you got some questions, don't you? Um, Sound is supposed to be the more relatable thing. So you say sonically, sound is supposed to be the more, but I actually think someone who can paint a vivid picture is a better storyteller.
Okay. So, is that because it's more difficult?
Yes, that's exactly why, because extremely, it's a gift to be that talented, to be able to be that genuine and authentic in your delivery so that people can vividly see your picture, your idea.
Right. Yeah, I'll go with that. All right. So, Nicholas, we have a tradition here in the Comedians and Elevators podcast where the previous guest has a question for the next guest. And the previous guest was Sam Hawkins. And his question for you, Nicholas, is what is helping you continue pursuing comedy?
My first addiction in life was making people laugh. I dude, I love nothing more than to make people laugh and smile and take their cares away for even if it's 10 seconds. So that's why for me is it's comedy is in everything, and I'm the guy who will make you laugh at a funeral because I'm gonna find something there that's gonna be funny, man. I see humor in every situation and in every single thing that I do. I know I annoy some people because they never take anything seriously. I do. I just think it's funny.
No, I'll go with
So
you. Yeah, I mean, I'll go with you on that one. The one detail that I was banned from doing was color guard in the army, and that's because I could not smile. So, are you ready for the last question?
absolutely, sir.
All right, legacy. Who gets remembered? Will the comics Tight Five survive time, or will the comedian's cultural point of view be more timeless?
Nobody survives time. This is going to be my Rocky Balboa. Here you go.
All right.
Time is undefeated. Nobody defeats time. No one. Everyone, I hate to break it to you, at some point, everyone's going to be forgotten. This whole thing, all of us, you, me, doesn't matter if I win 20 Oscars and make 150 films, at some point, we're going to be forgotten. I think that to answer your question in a more relatable way, I would say that if the comedian's 5 points lead to a timeless message, then that might carry on. Otherwise, like I said, the comic that's definitely referenceable. I've said that how many times to the time that they're in, the pop culture events that are current, all current events, all that. So yeah, no matter what though, time is undefeated, man.
That's definitely going in the beginning of the podcast. So, Nicholas, where can everybody find you online?
What's that?
Where can everybody find you online?
Well, don't worry about finding. I mean, you can just Google my name, Nicholas Joseph Mackey, and you'll find my Facebook. You can find me on IMDb. You can find me on Instagram, all that. But I would like to real quickly promote
Mhm.
my producer friend Skip Erickson, who's also a music composer. His new album, The Emotional Planet, Volume 1, is out on Apple Music, YouTube, and all other streaming services. And I'd also like to say thank you to Chris Sanders, UK-based film guy, Black Office Films. I've worked with him on several, and Tanya Carrier hyphen Hicks. Thank you for the work I've done with you in the past.
Well, how about that, Nicholas? Well, that was all. Those are the right kinds of plugs, and hopefully you give me those links so I can
But
put them in the
like I
description.
said, I got nothing personally current at the moment to promote. So I'm going to promote my friends. I'm going to promote my fellow filmmakers and artists.
I mean, that's the way to do it. That's what I'm doing. That's why I'm doing it. And so, Nicholas, thank you so much for being my guest, and for everyone else, please like and subscribe, and we will see you in the next one.
Thank you so much, sir.